In the beginning, there was silence. For billions of years before humankind ever spoke or dreamed, the universe itself was only a sea of darkness and potential. Scientists call it the beginning of time, a mysterious event some describe as the Big Bang. Imagine it not like a loud explosion, but more like the sudden unfolding of everything matter, light, space, and time bursting outward from a single, unimaginable origin. In less than a second, what was once nothing began to expand faster than thought, shaping galaxies and stars like sparks flying from a great cosmic fire. In the grand scheme of things, our sun's birth was not a particularly unique event. Stars have been lighting up the universe since time began, and men like our sun have nurtured planets that cradled life. It all started, as all things do, with dust. This dust wasn't the kind you sweep under the rug, but particles of elements forged in the hearts of dead stars, thrown into the vastness of space by exploding giants. These particles drifted for eons, drawn together by gravity into vast clouds. Slowly, invisibly, the clouds grew, becoming nurseries of future stars and planets. And that's how our story began. Long after the first generation of ancient stars lived and died, scattering heavy elements into space, clouds of gas and dust swirled and joined together. Gravity, the quiet sculptor of the universe, pulled these clouds tighter until they ignited. The sun was one of those stars. Long after the first generation of ancient stars lived and died, scattering heavy elements into space, clouds of gas and dust swirled and joined together. Gravity, the quiet sculptor of the universe, pulled these clouds tighter until they ignited. The sun was born, and around it, a disk of leftover gas and dust circled like dancers around a golden flame. Within that spinning disk, small grains of rock and metal collided, gently at first, then harder. They clumped together, growing larger each time. Some pieces shattered, others fused, but slowly, very slowly against the endless backdrop of space, the Earth began to form. But let's rewind time further. Let's go back to the moment of the Big Bang, the supposed beginning of our existence. Let's see what happened after the formation of Earth. Once the Earth had formed, it embarked on a journey of self-discovery, a cosmic adventure that would shape its destiny for billions of years. In the beginning, it was not blue and beautiful as we know it. It was a bowl of fire, oceans of magma, volcanoes erupting endlessly, and meteor after meteor crashing down like celestial hammers. Yet in this chaos there was progress. Over millions of years, Earth cooled. Rain fell, not for hours or days, but for centuries, filling vast valleys and craters, carving oceans across the planet's surface. Imagine a young Earth, a world still finding itself. It's a swirling mess of molten rock, a fiery furnace where the very building blocks of life are forged. Volcanoes are its architects, reaching for the sky with their smoke-filled spires. Meteorites bombard the surface, delivering not just raw materials, but the seeds of change. Gradually, the Earth begins to cool, a process taking millions of years. Water vapor in the atmosphere condenses, forming rain, which fills basins and carves out valleys. The relentless pounding of meteorites creates impact craters that become reservoirs of life. And on this wet, warming Earth, a miracle occurs. Simple cells emerge in the primordial soup of the oceans. Life, in its most basic form, takes its first tentative steps. For billions of years, life remained simple, just bacteria, algae, and microscopic beings drifting in the oceans. But slowly, the story turned toward complexity. Cells combined, new forms experimented with survival. Plants grew, tiny creatures crawled, fishes took off of the seas, insects ruled the skies, and eventually, some brave animals crept onto land. The story of Earth's early years is a tale of resilience and adaptation. It's a world where life finds a way. Through volcanic winters, greenhouse summers, and the ice ages that rival anything we've seen, life persists. The continents drift, forming new homes for new creatures, sparking new chapters in the book of evolution. By then, Earth had grown fertile and green, covered with forests so ancient they are ghosts to us now. And then came the age of dinosaurs, one of the most astonishing chapters in Earth's history. Roughly 230 million years ago, deep during a period called the Triassic, reptiles who had adapted skillfully to the land began evolving into shapes the world had never seen. These were not yet the giants we imagine, but they were ancestors lean, fast, and opportunistic. Some were no more bigger than chickens, others as long as crocodiles. These first dinosaurs were survivors in a world reshaped by climate swings and shifting continents. The Earth at the time didn't look the way it does today. All the land was fused together into one giant supercontinent called Pangaea. There were no more Atlantic or Indian Oceans cutting the continents apart. Instead, a single vast landmass stretched almost from pole to pole, surrounded by a global ocean. This unique geography created long dry deserts in the middle, damp forests by the edges, and an environment ripe for change. As ages passed into the Jurassic period about 200 million years ago, dinosaurs grew in size and diversity. Where once were small reptiles, soon there were giants, the long-necked sauropods, stretching their heads into the treetops, stripping leaves 20 meters above the ground. Their enormous bodies shook the earth like leafing mountains when they walked. Alongside them roamed predators, sharp-toothed hunters such as Allosaurus, stalking prey with cunning and raw power. The earth itself was ruled by new kings, the pterosaurs, flying reptiles with wingspans larger than atom. And beneath the seas, mighty reptiles known as plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs swam like monsters of legend, their sleek forms cutting through what is leak with life. It was during the Cretaceous period, the final chapter of dinosaurs, that the world truly shined with diversity. Plant life blossomed, flowering plants appeared for the very first time, painting the world in vivid color. Grasses began their early march toward domination, attracting insects, pollinators, and new ecological dances between species. Dinosaurs adapted to this colorful feast herbivores specializing with beaks, frills, and horns, while predators grew smarter and faster. The mighty Tyrannosaurus rex thundered over what would one day be North America. Herds of Triceratops roamed together with their shield-like frills and deadly horns. In the southern continents, strange and wonderful species thrived: spiky armored dinosaurs called ankylosaurs, speedy reptiles with sickle-shaped claws, enormous duck-billed hadrosaurs, and the titanic sauropods stretching higher than buildings. For nearly 165 million years, dinosaurs dominated the earth. They thrived longer than humanity has even existed by any comparison. Entire lineages came and went, climates shifted, seas rose and fell, and still they endured. But no more rain is eternal. About 66 million years ago, fate delivered a tragedy that reshaped history. From the edge of the solar system, a mountain-sized asteroid tore through space and struck what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. In one instant, the sky erupted into fire. Waves of shock spread across the globe. Earthquakes shattered coastlines, forests ignited, and the arena fish blackened the sky. For months, maybe years, sunlight was hidden. Plants withered, food chains collapsed, and one by one, the dinosaurs, mighty rulers of us, vanished into extinction, leaving only traces of their grandeur in the rocks beneath our feet, and in the blood of modern birds, their smallest living descendants. The world did not end, but it was reborn. With the giants gone, new creatures rose. Mammals, who had lived in the shadows for millions of years, began to flourish. They filled the empty world, evolving into new shapes, eventually giving birth to primates, and far down the line, humans. So when you look up at the night sky, or walk past the ruins of mountains and rivers, remember, the earth is a storyteller. Its stones hold tales longer than empires, its fossils whisper of lost worlds, and its oceans still sing the echoes of life's beginning. And though dinosaurs no longer walk the forests, their story is not just about fearsome predators or colossal size. It is about survival, change, and the endless cycle of life, that everything, from stars to creatures to us, is born, thrives, and passes on so that the story can continue. That is the story of the earth. And if you want to hear more stories like this, stay tuned because we have plenty more of them.